I gave back her engagement ring while she was with her new man. But what she didn't know was that I discovered her corporate espionage scheme worth millions. She thought I was just a heartbroken fiancé walking away. She had no idea I was about to dismantle her entire world. The look on her face when her powerful father said my name in that boardroom? Priceless. This is how I turned betrayal into the best decision of my life. My name is Jason Hartley. I'm 37 years old, and until recently, I was engaged to marry the woman I thought was my future. I've spent 10 years building my reputation as a top financial analyst at Mercer Capital. I handle millions daily with precision and care. Funny how those skills didn't transfer to my personal life. That Tuesday started normally enough. I finished my 5-mile run before dawn, showered, and kissed Brooke goodbye. I remember thinking how peaceful she looked, dark hair spread across the pillow like a painting. Jason, my boss, called for his office doorway. Got a minute? Richard Everett was built like a retired linebacker, with a handshake that could crush bones. The Westlake account is yours, he said, sliding a folder across his mahogany desk. Board presentation Friday. Make it shine. I nodded firmly. It'll be flawless, sir. One more thing. Richard leaned forward. Walter Winters called. Wants to discuss investment options. Asked for you specifically. My pulse quickened. Walter Winters, Brooke's father and real estate mogul, had always viewed me with skeptical eyes, measuring whether I was worthy of his daughter. Said his daughter speaks highly of your financial expertise, Richard added with a raised eyebrow. I'll set up the meeting immediately, I replied, standing tall. Later, I left work early to surprise Brooke with her favorite wine and those expensive imported cheeses she loved. In my pocket sat a small box with diamond earrings to match her engagement ring. Early anniversary gifts. Our colonial-style home was dark when I arrived. No lights, no Brooke, no welcome. The silence felt wrong, heavy and significant. In the kitchen, I found a hastily written note. Meeting Haley for drinks. Don't wait up. B. Haley was her sister. They weren't close. Something didn't add up. I noticed Brooke's laptop open on the counter. Unusual for someone obsessed with privacy. I debated for a full minute before looking. Her email was open, showing a thread with someone named Derek. Her colleague from that conference she'd attended. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same hotel. I've missed touching you. I stood perfectly still, my military training kicking in. Stay calm. Assess. My eyes caught a bank statement. A $5,000 transfer from our joint account to D. Caldwell. Yesterday. My phone rang. Walter Winters' name flashed on the screen. Jason, his gruff voice commanded. Those confidential investment documents in your home office. Brooke took them. I need them back immediately. They're worth millions to the right people. The floor seemed to shift beneath me as everything clicked in a terrible place. I stood in our kitchen, staring at my phone, Walter Winters' voice still ringing in my ears. My military background kicked in. Assess the situation. Develop a plan. Execute with precision. I'll look into it immediately, sir. I replied, my voice betraying none of the storm raging inside. See that you do, Hartley. Walter's voice was cold steel. Those documents contain sensitive acquisition plans. In the wrong hands, they're worth millions. I ended the call and went straight to my home office. The safe behind the bookshelf was unlocked, something I never did. Inside, the folder labeled Westlake Acquisition was gone. Along with it, the USB drive containing my presentation backups. Anger surged through me, but I controlled it. Emotion clouds judgment. I needed clarity, now more than ever. I logged into our joint bank account from my secure laptop. 5 separate transfers to D. Caldwell over the past month totaled $27,000, nearly our entire wedding fund. My jaw clenched so hard my teeth ached. I reached for my phone and paused. No emotional confrontations. That's what she'd expect. Anger, accusations, begging for explanations. Not this time. Instead, I called my brother Greg, a former Marine like me. I need a favor, I said when he answered. Name it, Greg responded instantly. Brothers forged in combat don't need explanations. Text me if you see Brooke's car at the Grand Hotel downtown. I think that's where she is. On it. Everything okay? No, but will be. I'll explain later. Next, I called my bank and froze her joint accounts. The personal banker asked if there was fraud. Yes, I answered. Exactly that. I went to our bedroom and opened a closet safe where I kept the 3-carat engagement ring I'd planned to upgrade on our anniversary. The velvet box felt heavy in my palm. I slipped it into my suit pocket and changed into a crisp black shirt and slacks. My phone buzzed. A text from Greg. Black BMW at Grand Hotel Valet. Play confirmed. My pulse remained steady as I loaded a bag with essentials. Not running away. Regrouping. Strategic retreat before counterattack. As I headed for the door, my phone rang again. Brooke. I let go to voicemail. Her message came through seconds later. Hey babe. Running late with Haley. Don't wait up. Love you. The casual lie made something harden inside me. I texted Greg. Need one more favor. Which room? 10 minutes later he responded. Room 840. Registered to Derek Caldwell. They just ordered champagne service. I drove downtown, parking a block from the hotel. In my pocket, the engagement ring felt like a grenade with the pin pulled. No longer a symbol of love, now a statement to be made. The lobby of the Grand was all marble and crystal, a place where wealth whispered rather than shouted. I walked with military posture to the concierge desk, sliding a $100 bill across the counter. I'd like to surprise my fiancé, I said, my smile never reaching my eyes. She's having drinks with her business associate in room 840. Could you send this up with a special message? The young concierge looked at the small velvet box and smiled. Of course, sir. What message shall I include? Just right. I know. Goodbye. I didn't wait in the lobby. I had no interest in watching the drama unfold from a distance. Instead, I positioned myself in the hotel bar with a clear view of the elevators. Order a whiskey neat. Didn't touch it. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a text from the concierge. Package delivered, sir. Then chaos erupted. The elevator doors opened, and Brooke burst out, still fastening her dress, mascara streaking down her flushed cheeks. Behind her, a tall man in a rumpled suit. Derek Caldwell, I presumed. He grabbed her arm. Brooke, calm down, he said loudly enough for others to hear. It's probably just a misunderstanding. She whirled on him. A misunderstanding? He knows everything. That's when she spotted me, sitting calmly at the bar. Her face went from panic to calculation in seconds. I stood, straightened my tie, and walked toward them with measured steps. Not rushing, not angry, in control. Jason, she gasped, switching instantly to victim mode. This isn't. Save it. I cut her off, my voice low and even. The documents you stole from my office. Where are they? Derek stepped forward, attempting intimidation. Look, buddy, we should talk privately about this. I fixed him with a stare that had made hardened men back down in combat zones. The only reason you're still standing is because we're in public. Back away. He blinked first. The documents, Brooke, I repeated. In my hotel room safe, she whispered, deflating. Jason, please, if you just let me explain. Your father needs those documents by morning, I said. And I need my $27,000 back. The transfers to Mr. Caldwell here weren't authorized. Derek paled. Transfers? Brooke, you said that money was from your trust fund. Her facade cracked completely. I was there to put it back. After you closed the deal with my father's competitors. Enough. I stopped her with a raised hand. Your father already knows. The question is whether you want to tell him yourself, or if he hears it from me at our meeting tomorrow. You wouldn't dare. She hissed, her true colors showing. I smiled coldly. Try me. I turned to walk away, but Derek grabbed my shoulder. Big mistake. In one fluid motion, I twisted his arm behind his back and pushed him against the wall, applying just enough pressure to make him gasp. The money. The documents. By noon tomorrow, I whispered in his ear. Or your corporate espionage becomes a police matter. I released him and walked out without looking back, the weight of the ring now gone from my pocket. I slept at a hotel across town, waking before dawn to call Walter Winters. I know where your documents are, I said when he answered. And I know who took them. A heavy silence. My office. 8 a.m. The Winters building dominated the downtown skyline. 52 floors of glass and steel. Walter's office occupied the top floor, with views that reminded everyone who entered exactly how high he stood above them. He was waiting when I arrived, looking older than his 60 years. You don't seem surprised, he observed as I sat across from him. I stopped being surprised when I saw the bank transfers, I replied. Walter nodded grimly. How much? $27,000. He opened his desk drawer and removed a checkbook. I'll cover it. I shook my head. This isn't about money. Then what do you want? The truth, I said. How long have you known about Brooke and Caldwell? About the corporate espionage. Walter's expression hardened. 3 weeks. My security team flagged unusual meetings between Brooke and representatives from Archer Capital, our main competitor. When we traced Caldwell, we found he was shopping sensitive information to them. And you didn't warn me? I needed to know if you were involved, he admitted. I leaned forward. And now? Now I need your help, Walter said, his voice strained. Those documents aren't just acquisition plans. They contain evidence of financial irregularities at Archer Capital. Evidence the SEC would be very interested in, if Caldwell delivers them. A knock interrupted us. Walter's assistant entered. Sir, your daughter is here. Walter's eyes met mine. Ready to finish this? I nodded. It's already finished for me. Brooke entered, still wearing yesterday's clothes, her face a perfect mask of contrition that didn't reach her eyes. Daddy, she began. I can explain everything. Walter raised his hand, silencing her. Jason knows everything. So do I. Her eyes widened as she realized we'd been talking, then narrowed as she calculated her next move. The documents and the money, I said quietly. Now. Brooke looked between her father and me, her calculated composure finally cracking. The documents, Walter demanded, voice like granite. They're in my purse, she admitted, pulling out a manila envelope. But Daddy, you need to understand, Derek said it was just business intelligence. Nothing illegal. Walter took the envelope without acknowledging her excuse. He examined the contents, confirming everything was there, then looked at me. And the money? I asked. I don't have it. Brooke snapped, desperation edging into her voice. Derek invested it. In what? I interrupted. She looked away. His gambling debts. The pieces clicked into place. Not just corporate espionage. Caldwell was desperate. A desperate man taking advantage of a spoiled woman who thought she could buy love. Walter made a phone call, security to my office, and called the police. He hung up and faced his daughter. The Westlake documents could have destroyed this company, my life's work. I didn't know, she protested weakly. Yes, you did, I said quietly. The same way you knew about the transfers from our joint account. Walter looked at me with something like respect. What are your plans now, Jason? Before I could answer, the door burst open. Derek Caldwell stormed in, his face contorted with rage. You lying bitch, he snarled at Brooke. You said your father would pay us off. I stepped between them, my stance combat ready. That's close enough. Derek pulled something from his jacket, a gleaming letter opener he'd grabbed from somewhere. Not a serious weapon, but dangerous in desperate hands. Back away, I warned. Do you know what you promised me? Derek sneered, waving the makeshift weapon. Millions. And now I'm supposed to take the fall alone. He lunged, not at me, but at Brooke. I reacted instantly, deflecting his arm and using his momentum to drive him to the floor. The letter opener clattered away as I pinned him down, knee pressed firmly between his shoulder blades. Security's on the way, I said calmly as he struggled beneath me. Save your energy for explaining the corporate espionage charges. Walter had moved protectively in front of his daughter, despite everything. You all right? He asked me as security guards flooded in. I stood up, straightening my tie as Derek was hauled away. I've had worse Tuesdays. After the police took statements, Walter dismissed Brooke. She tried one last appeal to me. Jason, please, we can work this out, she whispered, touching my arm. I stepped back. We already did. When the door closed behind her, Walter sank into his chair. I owe you an apology, Jason. And my gratitude. You don't owe me anything, I replied. Nevertheless, he said, opening a drawer. The position of Chief Investment Officer has just opened up. The board meets this afternoon. I raised an eyebrow. Isn't that your son-in-law's position? Ex-son-in-law, Walter corrected. The position is yours if you want it. I didn't accept Walter's offer immediately. I needed time to think, to process everything that had happened. I took a week off, rented a cabin near Lake Tahoe where my brother Greg and I used to fish as teenagers. The mountains offered clarity the city couldn't. On my third day there, hiking along a ridge trail, my phone rang. Unknown number. Jason Hartley. I answered. Mr. Hartley, this is Detective Ramirez with Financial Crimes. We've completed our initial investigation into Derek Caldwell. And I prompted, stopping to watch an eagle soar above the pines. We've recovered approximately $18,000 of your funds. The rest was lost in gambling debts. It wasn't about the money anymore, but I appreciated the update. What about the corporate espionage charges? Mr. Caldwell is cooperating, hoping for leniency. He's implicated several parties at Archer Capital who were paying for the Westlake information. After the call ended, I sat on a sun-warmed boulder, considering my options. The position Walter offered would mean working closely with a family fractured by betrayal. Complicated, but a significant career advancement. My phone rang again. Brooke this time. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won out. Hello, Brooke. Jason. Her voice was subdued. I heard you're being offered my ex-husband's position. Ex-husband? This was news to me. We've been separated for months, she admitted. The divorce will be final next week. It wasn't working even before Derek came along. I let the silence stretch, unwilling to offer her absolution. I know it doesn't change anything, she continued, but I wanted you to know it wasn't about you. I was lost, and now? I asked, more from curiosity than concern. Therapy, community service. Father's frozen my trust fund until I prove I've changed. A bitter laugh. Rock bottom has a nice view of who you really are. I wish you the best, Brooke, I said, meaning it despite everything. But we're done. I know, she said quietly. Take the job, Jason. You deserve it. After we hung up, I sat watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. My brother texted, "Decision made yet, bro?" I thought about Walter's offer. About starting over in the same company where everything had fallen apart. About seeing Brooke at corporate events. Navigating the complex politics that would come with the position. Then I thought about the other offers that had been coming in since news of the scandal broke. Firms eager to benefit from someone who demonstrated integrity under pressure. I called Walter the next morning. I've made my decision, I told him. I'm declining your offer, Walter, I said as morning light streamed through his office windows. But I appreciate the vote of confidence. Walter Winters leaned back in his leather chair, eyebrows raised. May I ask why? It's a substantial position with considerable influence. That's precisely why, I replied, maintaining steady eye contact. I'd be walking into a minefield of office politics after everything that's happened. Your board members would question my every move, wondering if I earned the position or if it was some form of guilt compensation. Walter nodded slowly. You've thought this through. So what's next for Jason Hartley? I slid a business card across his desk. Hartley Financial Advisors. My own firm. I've secured startup funding from 3 investors who value integrity above quarterly profits. He picked up the card, examining it with a hint of respect. Bold move. Starting from scratch in this market. Sometimes you need to rebuild from the foundation up, I said. Just like trust. Walter stood and extended his hand. Well, you've certainly earned my respect. And while you may not be joining us directly, I'd like Winters Enterprises to be your first corporate client. We shook hands firmly, 2 men who understood each other despite everything. As I left the building for the last time, my phone rang, Greg calling. So, my brother said when I answered, how'd the old man take your resignation? Better than expected, I replied, stepping into the bright spring sunshine. He signed on as my first major client. Greg's whistle was appreciative. Leveraging that guilt, smart business. It's not about guilt, I corrected. It's about recognizing value. Walter knows I'll never compromise my principles. That's worth something in this industry. Speaking of principles, Greg said, his tone shifting. Brooke's been asking about you. Calling me, if you can believe it. I felt nothing at the mention of her name. No anger, no longing, just emptiness. What does she want? She claims she's changed. Therapy, volunteering, the whole redemption tour. Good for her, I said, meaning it. Everyone deserves a second chance. Just not with me. That's what I told her, Greg confirmed. Listen, I've got news too. That security consulting firm finally made me an offer. Partner track from day one. I smiled genuinely for the first time in weeks. About time they recognize your value. We should celebrate. Already ahead of you, Greg laughed. Dinner at Sullivan's. Tonight. I've invited Haley Winters too. I almost stumbled. Brooke's sister? Why would you? Because she's been instrumental in helping build your case against Caldwell, Greg interrupted. And because unlike her sister, she's got integrity. And because she asked about you, specifically. Greg, I warned, I'm not looking for her. Just dinner, he said innocently. Between professionals. No pressure. That evening at Sullivan's Steakhouse, I arrived early out of habit. The maitre d' guided me to a private table in the back. Greg wasn't there yet, typical of my perpetually late brother. But Haley was, looking elegant in a simple black dress, her blonde hair swept up unlike Brooke's always flowing dark locks. She stood when she saw me, her handshake firm. I was starting to think you might stand me up, she said with a slight smile. I thought my brother would be here. I replied honestly. Haley laughed softly. Greg texted me 20 minutes ago. Claimed an emergency client situation. Of course he did. I'm sorry about the deception. I can leave if this is uncomfortable. She gestured to the chair opposite hers. Unless you're afraid to have dinner with me? The challenge in her voice sparked something I hadn't felt in months. Genuine interest. I expected awkwardness at dinner with Haley, given everything that had happened with her sister. Instead, I found refreshing directness. Let's address the elephant in the room, she said after we'd ordered. My sister betrayed you in every possible way. I don't blame you if you want nothing to do with our family. I took a sip of water, considering my response. You're not your sister. No, she agreed. I'm not. I've spent my entire life being compared to Brooke, the perfect daughter. It's ironic how that turned out. You helped build the case against Caldwell, I noted. That couldn't have been easy, testifying against your sister's lover. Haley's expression hardened. He was dangerous. Not just to the company, but to Brooke herself. She was so infatuated she couldn't see he was using her. Our steaks arrived, providing a momentary pause in the conversation. When the server left, I decided on complete honesty. I appreciate what you did, but I need to be clear. I'm not interested in getting entangled with your family again. The wounds are still fresh. Haley cut into her steak with precision. That's fair. But for the record, I didn't help with the case to win your favor. I did it because it was right. We shifted to safer topics. Her work as an environmental lawyer, my plans for the new firm, shared interests in hiking and classic films. By dessert, I realized I was genuinely enjoying myself. You mentioned starting your own firm, Haley said as we shared a chocolate souffle. My firm represents several environmental technology startups, looking for ethical investment partners. Perhaps we could discuss a professional collaboration. That sounds promising, I agreed. As we left the restaurant, the spring evening was unexpectedly cool. Haley shivered slightly in her light dress. Without thinking, I removed my jacket and placed it around her shoulders. She looked up, surprised by the gesture. Thank you, Jason, she said quietly. For dinner, the jacket, and for not holding my last name against me. Thank you for reminding me that one person's actions don't define their entire family. I walked her to her car, maintaining a respectful distance. This wasn't a date, but it wasn't just a business dinner either. It existed in some undefined territory that felt unexpectedly comfortable. I have your business card, she said as she unlocked her car. I'll have those startups contact you next week. I look forward to it, I replied, handing her my new private number. For professional purposes, of course. She smiled, a genuine expression that reached her eyes. Of course. 2 weeks later, my new office space downtown was coming together. The Winters Enterprises account had led to 3 more major clients, and Haley's environmental startups had proven to be exactly the kind of ethical enterprises I wanted to represent. My phone buzzed with a text from Haley. Grand opening party for your firm, still happening Friday. I smiled as I typed back, absolutely. Professional gathering only. Her response came quickly. Of course. Just professionals celebrating a new beginning. And that's exactly what it was. A new beginning built on the solid foundation of lessons painfully learned. 6 months after opening Hartley Financial Advisors, my gamble was paying off. My downtown office now employed 8 people, managed 15 major corporate accounts, and had a waiting list of clients drawn to our reputation for ethical investment practices. The Friday evening of our half-year anniversary celebration, I stood surveying the gathering of clients, staff, and supporters. Greg approached, champagne in hand. Who would have thought my little brother would be Boston's rising financial star? He teased, clinking glasses with me. Not Brooke, that's for sure. I replied with a grin that held no bitterness. Time had transformed the pain into something oddly like gratitude. Without her betrayal, I might never have taken this leap. Speaking of Winter's women, Greg nodded toward the entrance where Haley had just arrived. She wore an elegant emerald dress that complimented her eyes, scanning the room until she spotted me. Our relationship had evolved carefully over the past months. Weekly business meetings became regular dinners, which gradually transformed into something we still hadn't fully defined. Professional boundaries remained important to both of us. I should greet our newest client, I told Greg, who rolled his eyes dramatically. Still pretending this is just business, huh? Whatever helps you sleep at night, brother. I made my way through the crowd to Haley. She smiled warmly as I approached. Congratulations, Jason, she said, accepting the champagne I offered. The place is packed. 3 of the environmental startups you connected us with signed long-term contracts today. I informed her. Your referrals have become 20% of our business. Good investments are good investments, she shrugged. I just pointed them in the right direction. We were interrupted by commotion near the entrance. Walter Winters had arrived, unexpected and unannounced. The room quieted as he approached us. Jason, he greeted me with his customary firm handshake. Impressive turnout. Walter, I nodded. I didn't realize you were coming. His eyes moved to Haley, something unspoken passing between father and daughter. Haley mentioned your milestone. I thought I'd see this operation for myself. I'd maintained a strictly professional relationship with Winters Enterprises since declining Walter's job offer, communicating primarily through intermediaries. His presence tonight was significant, and I prompted, curious despite myself. And I'm impressed, he admitted. You've built something substantial here. Something honest. Coming from Walter Winters, this was high praise indeed. I have a proposition, he continued. Not employment. I know better now. A partnership between Hartley Financial and Winters Enterprises. Equal footing, separate operations, shared resources. I glanced at Haley, whose slight nod confirmed she knew about this offer. Why now? I asked Walter directly. Because you've proven what you can build from nothing, he answered candidly. And because my daughter speaks highly of your integrity, both personal and professional. I considered the proposition. Winters' resources would accelerate my firm's growth exponentially. But at what cost? I need complete autonomy over investment decisions, I stated firmly. Walter nodded. I wouldn't expect anything less. And my name stays on the door. No corporate rebranding. Agreed. Walter extended his hand. Take the weekend to review the details. We can discuss your decision on Monday. Monday morning dawned clear and bright as I jogged through Boston Common. Walter's partnership proposal turning in my mind. I'd spent the weekend analyzing every angle, considering potential pitfalls and opportunities. After my run, I showered and dressed carefully in my best suit. Today wasn't just about the Winters proposal. I had my own proposition to make. I arrived at Hartley Financial early, reviewing quarterly reports until my intercom buzzed. Mr. Winters is here for your 9 o'clock, my assistant announced. Walter entered my office, looking every bit the corporate titan in his tailored suit. We exchanged pleasantries before getting down to business. Have you considered my offer? He asked, sitting across from me. I have, I replied, sliding a contract across my desk. With some modifications. Walter raised an eyebrow, but reviewed the document carefully. 51% ownership remains with you permanently. Non-transferable upon retirement or death without board approval. Interesting. Non-negotiable, I stated calmly. He continued reading. Ethical investment clause, environmental sustainability commitments, profit sharing with employees. He looked up. You drive a hard bargain, Jason. I've learned from the best. I replied with a slight smile. Walter closed the folder. I accept your terms. We'll have the paperwork finalized by week's end. We shook hands, and I felt a sense of completion. Not because I'd won Walter's approval, but because I'd remained true to my principles throughout. As Walter prepared to leave, he paused. One more thing. Haley mentioned you're having dinner with her tonight. I maintained a neutral expression. That's correct. She also mentioned it's your 6-month anniversary. Walter's expression softened slightly. She seems happy. I am too, I admitted, the first time I'd acknowledged our relationship to her father. Walter nodded thoughtfully. You've rebuilt well, Jason, both professionally and personally. Not many men could have emerged stronger after what happened. After he left, I opened my desk drawer and looked at the small velvet box inside. Not an engagement ring. We weren't there yet, but a pendant with a single emerald that matched Haley's eyes. A symbol of something new built on the hard lessons of the past. That evening, as Haley and I sat at our favorite restaurant overlooking the harbor, I reflected on the journey that had brought me here. The betrayal that had initially seemed like an ending had actually been the beginning of something authentic, a career built on integrity, relationships founded on honesty. "You're quiet tonight," Haley observed, reaching across the table to touch my hand. "Second thoughts about the partnership with my father?" I smiled, squeezing her hand gently. "No second thoughts. Just appreciation for how life's worst moments sometimes lead to the best outcomes. To new beginnings," she proposed, raising her glass. I touched my glass to hers, and to the wisdom to recognize them when they arrive. The pendant would wait for dessert. Some moments deserve perfect timing.